Everybody's attention, please. Excuse me. We got to stop working on the reflection sheets. If we're able to finish the lesson a little early, you can go back to working on the reflection sheets during class. If not, you can work on them during lunch. You can work on them at home, whatever needs to be, and then you can get them in to me tomorrow. Okay? Hey, guys, head in the game. Ladies, gentlemen, everybody quiet. Now, you have the take-home test. It's due next Tuesday. As I said before, you are welcome to work on it. It's really, I would like you to work on it together. It is not, listen, first off, I could never stop you from cheating on it anyway, so I'm not even going to try. But it's unbelievably important, and it says it on that take-home test, that you show all your work. If you don't show work, you're going to get it wrong. I'm not even going to bother looking at it. If all you do is write down an answer, it's wrong. If you write down an answer and you can do it in your head, then I want you to explain what you did in your head. For example, if we had one like, let's just say A up there, which I know every person in the room can do, the answer works out to be 4, and you wrote down 4, I would mark it wrong. If you showed the steps and got 4, I would mark it right. And if you just wrote and said, well, I subtracted 4 from both sides, and then I divided by -3, that I would mark right too, if you did it in your head. I need to know what it is that you did in your head, okay? That's due next Tuesday. That'll be the second test of the market period. There will be no relearn packet for it, obviously, because, come on, you're able to do it with your friends. And then the last test of the market period, there'll be no relearn packet for, because it's really close to the end of the market period. All right, so, oh boy. So, I know everybody can do A. I just graded the quiz. Now, no person in the class got that question wrong. Now I want to take a look at the next two. And in the course of looking at the next two, what I want to do is develop a strategy. Did I talk to you about quarterbacks in football the other day?
Yes.
Okay, same idea. You go up to the line, you take a look. You want to see what is the defense playing. So when I look at this first equation, I got to ask myself, is there a distribute? Is it same side? Is it opposite side? What is it? Opposite side. Opposite side?
Opposite operation.
Opposite operation. Always starting with the smaller one. Anthony gave us a stellar explanation of that the other day. By the way, Anthony, you have the best shirts. Die. 5A minus 2A is what, everybody?
3A.
3A minus 9 equals 26. Now it's opposites again. So I add 9 to both sides. Die. 3A is 35. And this is a reminder that not every answer is good looking. Okay? 35 over 3 is the correct answer. Any questions on that? Okay. Not every answer has to go in perfectly. Now, distribute to 3 because I see it in the parentheses and I get 3x plus 12 plus x minus 2 is 20. Now, when you see this, are you thinking same side or opposite side? Definitely same side. So let's get my x's together. If I have 3 x's and another x, how many x's do I have altogether? 4x. And that's actually what today's lesson is going to be. So we kind of already know today's lesson. Then I have a positive 12 and a negative 2. What is that when I put them together? 8. Positive 12, negative 2. What is that all together? 10 equals 20. Subtract 20. Die. Another ugly answer. 10 divided by 4, divided by 4. Now, we've been over earlier in the year when I've told you that I really don't want you to express your answers as decimals, and leaving them in fractions is really good. See, if someone was to take 35 and divide it by 3, the answer is 11.6 repeating. And I've just seen so many times when kids write 11.7 or 11.6 that to me, this is not worth ever converting to a decimal. If you did it correctly, obviously you would receive full credit. But this one is, the decimal terminates. I think everybody knows 2.5. So exercising a little bit of math judgment, if you do 10 divided by 4, if you leave it like that, it's fine. If you reduce it to 5 divided by 2, it's even a little bit better. And if you write 2.5, I love it. And if you write 2.5, I'm okay with it because it's an exact value decimal. It terminates. It's when you round off. It's as soon as kids start rounding off that unless the directions say to round off, you would get it wrong. Okay, any questions? All right, so now Name the property and explain how you knew its name. What kind of property is that, everybody? Commutative property of? How do you know it's commutative? Spencer?
Because the numbers are moving around and the moving text.
What's the key word we like with commutative? Starts with an S? Starts with an SW?
Switching.
Very good. I'm switching the order. Remember, to commute means to switch, like the governor commutes the prison sentence, or you switch the direction of your morning commute, Patchogue to New York, and then New York back out to Patchogue. Here,
You're switching the order, but you're switching where the parentheses goes, but not the. But
not what's in the parentheses. Exactly, Anthony, very good. I'm not switching the 3 and the 1. It's still staying 3 and 1, so it's not associative, even though it looks like associative normally looks like. What I'm doing is, here, I'm putting the parenthesis first and the 8 second, and on the right side, I'm putting the 8 first and the parenthesis second. So I have switched order, which makes this the commutative property of addition. All right, so now, you know, when I was your age, I truly, truly despised mathematics with all of my heart and all of my soul. And I had teachers that taught me a bunch of rules. And it's like they would walk into the room through the door at the start of that period. And they would have to duck to make sure their halo didn't hit the ceiling. And then they would go, "This is how you do this. This is the law. This is the rule. And I have declared it thus." As if it was them that Moses was talking to on the mountain. No way! It doesn't work like that. I hated math as long as it was shown to me in that way. And I think most teenagers do, because teen years are very rebellious years. You know, it's it's just a part of a kid that just doesn't want to be told what to do. I'm 53, I'm not big on being told what to do. When I look at what we're about to do today, we're talking about eternal truth. What lights me up about math, when I started to realize that absolutely everything in this universe has a mathematical explanation. Everything. Anybody know what shape DNA is in?
A circle,
No.
a triangle,
No.
a square.
It's called a double helix. And it's a pattern of symmetry.
That was my name's good.
That was all through the thing. The bonds. You look at your desk that you put your book on to write on. It's made up of molecules. The molecules are made up of atoms. The atoms only stick together because of the positive and the negative electrons, ions, that bond them together. The way things move. The fact that I'm looking here at Lena's feet, and she has these sandals on that you would never in a million years choose to play soccer with, not just because you have to kick the ball with your bare feet, but because they would slip and slide on the grass, because there's a low coefficient of friction in that. Then I look at Manione's feet, and I see the same kind of sneakers that I wore when I was in high school, and they, on the other hand, grip a whole lot better. To the planets. You look at, it's like food. So you look at the planets, what are you having tonight? We're eating a little Manione for dinner tonight. You look at the planets, and they all carry very predictable orbits. Or, even, like, I'm a fisherman, I love fishing. And in the salt, fishing revolves around the tides. And they actually have predicted the tides for the next decade in time out in front of us. Because they can do that, because every single planet in the universe and every satellite to a planet, like the moon, follows a very specific mathematical equation. Even the weight of a fish can be expressed in a mathematical equation. So because of that, and everything in the world was expressed mathematically, I started to think that when I was studying math, I was actually figuring out the world and the way the world really works. The design to the world, if you will. And that lit me up. That I was willing to learn about. So this idea of eternal truths is very, very big on me. Now, some people here will talk about apples and bananas, which is a good way to do this. But what I want you to understand here is this is nothing more, absolutely nothing more than doing your laundry. It really is. How many people here do their own laundry?
My mom won't let
Who
me.
has mommy and daddy do it for you?
They don't trust
You
me.
bums.
It's okay.
We got some serious mama's boys going on in this class right here.
My
Santa
mom
goes
will
like,
do it, but I still
I
won't.
got my mom. My mommy does it all. You better go home and hug your mom and say, Mom, I'm gonna send her a little email today and say, watch today's lesson. And, now, here's the thing. If you do your laundry, I don't, first off, I don't know anybody that organizes their laundry when it goes into the washing machine. Everybody just throws it in the basket. Yeah, well, yeah, you might separate darks and lights. And in my case, I happen to like performance clothing, which is the kind of clothing that wicks sweat away from you. And you can't use fabric softener on that, because it ruins it. So, I have to do those separate, and then I will do all of the ones that are like lights, and then all of the ones that are darks. So, when you put your laundry in, I have performance clothing, lights, darks. Now, no fabric softener, fabric softener. I like it supposed to be soft. So, this is the way that I separate my stuff out. When I look at this, it's just like doing laundry. I gotta get my A's with my A's, and I gotta get my B's with my B's. And I gotta see how much of each I have all together. Now remember, Mr. Lindquist, Mrs. Lindquist, we always peek in front to see what kind of, are we talking about the male Mr. Lindquist or the female Mrs. Lindquist? Here we peek in front, what kind of 4A am I dealing with here? Positive. What kind of 3B? What kind of A here? And what kind of 2B's here? So all this is an integer question. And all we're saying to you is this, look, if I have 4 A's and I have a negative A, what do I have altogether? 3 A's. And if I have 3 B's, this is positive, and 2 B's, what do I have altogether? 5 B's. Now I could have said to you, I literally could have said, I have 4 pieces of performance clothing, and then I have 3 darks. And then I have a negative piece of performance clothing, don't even go where that is. And then I have 2 more darks. What do I have going into my laundry? I have 3 performance clothings and 5 darks. Or, I just thought of another good one. I take my shirts, I never wash my shirts. I go to the laundromat for my shirts. Always, always, always. Now, when I go to the laundromat, shirts cost $1.75 each to do. Pants cost like $4.50 each, they cost a lot more money. So I have to separate them. I get my pants with my pants, and I get my shirts with my shirts. And that's all we're doing here. You try the next one. Okay, so what I have here, taking a peek at this, what kind of 3s is this? Or are they, I should say. What kind of 4x?
Negative.
What kind of x? What kind of 8?
Negative.
So if I have 3 positives and 8 negatives, what do I have altogether? Negative 5, good. And then if I have negative 4x's and positive x's, what do I have altogether? No, 4 negatives, 1 positive.
Negative 3x.
Negative 3x. Now, this gets to an interesting point. If you express your answer this way, you're correct. Get full credit. However, there's a certain order that we expect to see things in, mathematically, and this is called standard polynomial order. What it means is that I always expect to see the highest exponent first, followed by the next highest, and the next highest, and the next highest, all the way down to the number. So for instance, every single time that I have written, like was on your quiz, it was 2x squared plus 4x minus 5. We always do the x squared first, then we do the x's, then we do the number at the end. That's just tradition. Now this doesn't have an x squared in it, but it does have an x. So it's a little more proper to write negative 3x minus 5. Now I want to be clear, they both get full credit. But for reasons that will become apparent as the semester unfolds before you, you will begin to think that it's really good to write it as negative 3x minus 5. Also, isn't this just an example of the commutative property? Right? What did we say the word commute means, everybody? Switch. Didn't I just switch the order of this? Okay, so by the commutative property, I can do that. That's not a problem. The key is to remember, here the 5 is negative. What's the here 5 here? Negative. Here the 3x is negative. What's the 3x here? Negative. So I just make sure that the sign in front matches what it was before I switched it. Okay, try the next one. Okay, so now we're looking at the next question, and I notice A's, B's, and C's. I have to be very careful about which is which. I can't fall into lazy thinking. So, if you want, think of them as apples, bananas, and carrots, right? You're sorting out stuff for some kind of a weird recipe. It's not the case that we always draw these little arrows. That was for teaching emphasis. Typically, we don't. What kind of 3 A's are here? Positive 3 A's. What kind of A's are here? And then there's another negative 2 A's. So 3 A's and negative 2 A's is 1 A, and another negative 2 A's is negative A. I have 2 B's and negative 5 B's. What's that? Negative 3B. And I have this little old lonely negative C all by itself. So I have negative 3A minus 3, negative A minus 3B minus C. Preguntas? Questions? No, we're good? Okay. So now, I take a look at the next ones, and this is the way that, as the year goes on, you're likely to see it more frequently. There are exponents involved. But an x squared is just its own kind of thing. It can't be added to x's. So you're going to get your x squareds with your x squareds, your x's with your x's, and your numbers with your numbers. Do it.
So the questions that I put down on the fact sheet had to do with like the open and closed ones.
Good idea.
And I was really sure how I could show my work on that one.
As long as you explained it, you're good.
Okay.
Okay. So, I have 3x squareds and another x squared. What do I have altogether? 4x squareds. Now, what kind of 5x's are those? Positive. And what kind of 7x's? God bless. You always sneeze that many in a row? Really? I'm a double sneezer. I go, achoo, achoo. You know what my mother does? She does like the world's most potent sneeze. Achoo! I'm like, good Lord, they heard that in Montana. Okay.
Sometimes when I sneeze, I go like this. Shoot!
There you go. Oh, okay, a little John Travolta sneeze there. All right, positive 5x's, negative 7x's. What do I have? Hey, positive 5x's, negative 7x's. What do I have? Negative 2x's. And then I have a negative 2 and a negative 2. That makes? Negative 11. So, this is what we call a trinomial because there are 3 terms in it. And notice the standard order. Squared, then x, then number. Try the last one.
Oh, I already did one. It was like
All right, let's everybody catch up. Okay, so now we're going to get our x cubes together because there's only one term with an x cubed in it, so there it is. Some kids, as the expressions get longer and longer, some kids like to cross them off as you go along. You're welcome to do that, whatever floats your boat. I have negative 3x squareds and positive 3x squareds. That means altogether I have no x squareds. Now theoretically you could write plus 0x squared, but we don't want to do that. And then it's minus 7x plus 7. Alright? Hasta la vista, vaya con Dios, toodaloo, ta-ta, arrivederci. Smile a lot. Ciao, arrivederci, adios amigos, amigas. Cheerio, Garushus, Kadafis, Sayonara, Shalom, Toodles.
Janelle Minder to the guidance office, also DeAndre Richmond, so DeAndre Richmond and Janelle Minder to guidance.
So like
Yes.
for the first part of the take home test, use graphing paper like this. I plotted the points.
Yeah, that's a good explanation. Good.
Romeo Vituz to the health office.